Okay, hey everybody. I'm going to show you today basically how to do something a little bit more advanced than Unity and basically just do smooth 3D player movement. We're going to use acceleration and damping. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys how to do a little bit more advanced technique with moving your character in Unity. I've kind of already got my scene set up here, but I'm going to show you guys what I've done. So I've got my capsule. Everything basically here is the same. It's just kind of hanging out up here. It has a collider. I added a character controller to it, so basically what you guys want to do is just come down here and you can just do what I did, search character controller, click that component, and it will just add for you. And I haven't changed any of the default values in here. Everything's the same. And same here, basically we're going to go to our scripts and create a player controller script. And basically once you do that, you go to your capsule, and I'll remove mine here and then just kind of drag it on. Oops. Just drag it there, and then basically we'll get started going into the code from here. So basically in our code we have our player controller, we have some movement settings. I just created some headers to kind of organize it a little bit easier. Excuse me. We have our movement settings, we have move speed, acceleration time, rotation speed. These are all values I picked. You guys are more than welcome to change them to whatever you feel like. And here we have gravity. So gravity is going to affect how fast the player character is falling. And it will also affect how the character moves on the ground. Because if gravity is more intense, it'll slow down the character and almost act like a friction. Here we're just getting our character controller components. We have our velocity and our velocity smooth damping. So we'll start with our basic controller. And we're just going to grab the character controller from the object. This is probably the most basic way to do this. It's probably not the best way, but for now, as a beginner tutorial, we'll just leave it like this since there's only one character in the game. One day we'll go into a little bit better of a way to do this. And then for now, over here we have our horizontal and vertical axes. So basically here, this is the Unity old input way of doing this. So for now, we're just going to leave it with the old version of Unity's input system. This isn't really focusing mainly on how to actually control the character. This is just how the character feels when you're moving it. So if you already have your own input system set up, this is more than just fine to just test out how the actual character movement works. We have our input direction, our target velocity, and then our gravity magnitude. So this is where our gravity gets calculated. And then we have a friction multiplier. Again, this is just kind of how I did mine. You guys are free to change these values to whatever you feel like you need. Ideally, in a way, this would be a value as well, but for now, we're just leaving it kind of on its own. So we'll move over to the current velocity. So this is Unity's smooth damping function. So Unity's smooth damp function is quite nice because it kind of does a lot of work for us. So we just kind of give it our current velocity, the target velocity, and we give it like a smoothing time, and we basically just kind of let it calculate it for us. So it's pretty easy, it's pretty useful. A lot of it is kind of done for you. If you know all of this stuff like we have it done up here, we basically just have our target velocity with the input direction and our move speed. So it's very easy to just kind of plug it all in and let it do its thing. Here is just a very simple controller is grounded function. This is taken from the character controller. I haven't done this. So basically the character controller calculates whether the character is grounded for you, which is quite nice. And it just sets the vertical velocity. And then again, if it's not already on the ground, then we use our gravity to kind of make the character fall. And we'll just basically move on to our final velocity. So we take our current velocity to our vertical velocity, and then our vertical velocity in the z-axis. So this is basically, x and z is our forward, backward, left, and right. We don't need a y here because our y-axis is our vertical. So this is kind of what's doing all the work for the character actually falling. And then we have our actual character move, we have our kind of final velocity, and then we times that by delta time. And if in my previous video you didn't really catch me explaining what delta time does, basically just counts the time between frames. So it essentially just makes it equal for everybody on any kind of computer to always have the same feel for a character move or same feel for camera. So for example, in this case, since we're moving a character, if there was no delta time, if I had an amazing computer, it would probably move at 1,000 units in 1 second, and someone with a slower laptop, it might move 100 units in 1 second. So the idea is to make this constant and always be fair for everybody using it, and make it basically just equal on all platforms. And then our last thing is our input direction. So this is more of our rotation stuff. I didn't really work too much on the rotation stuff because what I'm going to be showing you guys is basically just movement, so I'm not really sure what you're going to be doing it for. So this is just some general rotation stuff basically. So yeah, that's pretty much all the code. Feel free to take the code and just use it wherever you guys want. It's whatever you guys feel like. And then we go back into the scene. I just added a plane here. Nothing fancy, just a basic plane. Just go to 3D object and add a plane, and that's pretty much it. So if I hit play here, the character should fall down. There he goes, and then I can move him around. So using WASD on the keys, you can move back, forward, left, and right, and you notice how he kind of slides a little bit. So it's kind of almost a realistic movement. He comes to kind of like a slowdown, and if you want to kind of play with the values, you can change things like the gravity. You can make it more intense. So you see how he's like moving a lot slower and a lot like heavier. He's a little heavier now. So yeah, that's kind of it. Feel free to play around with it, use it for whatever you guys feel like. But yeah, that'll be the end of the video. Hope you guys enjoyed it.